And here we are, and we've got some points that we've sort of had the last week that we feel we want your input in. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, and we would like your input on some of these things. We're going to share some of our thoughts and inspirations to some of the things that we're going to talk about. The first thing we're going to talk about is news straight off the press this morning that the House passes a bill that would lead to a TikTok ban. And we want to know sort of what you feel about that. It's not complete yet. That's just through, the first part of basically, I believe it's Congress. And then from there, I believe it'll go to the Senate. But, it's interesting because what was interesting this morning was the House passes a bill that would lead to a TikTok ban if Chinese owner refuses to sell. And then at the same time, the Chinese government have issued a threat to say that if we ban TikTok, that there will be repercussions as far as America goes. So if that's the case, it just confirms what we've all thought, is that TikTok is a spying app. Yes, I see that all the apps that we've got and all the different data services like Google, Facebook, data is their business, really. It's not social media, but the truth of the matter is, at least they're American companies. If they're international companies, like especially China, they probably like to interfere with a lot that sort of, is going on in our elections and such like, just like Russia did in 2016. So passing that across the floor, Kay, what's your opinion on that? What's your opinion about how you feel
As
the
a
TikTok
younger
ban?
person. I think that a TikTok ban would be healthy because I genuinely think that um, TikTok needs to be regulated more. It makes it like uh, children are learning things that I don't think that they should learn, at this age. And you can say that it's the parents' jobs to do certain things and to monitor, but it's very, very hard when it's, at the tip of your fingers every second of every day.
Yeah.
We talked about it last week as well with
We did. That's what actually
yeah,
was to bring up when we said about
the ban
some of
in
the
high
schools
school.
are taking away the kids' phones. So it's obviously a problem.
Hmm.
You know, Personally, I don't think it's any business of any other country that owns an app. Now, the other question that I've got, isn't WhatsApp owned by China?
Is it? Maybe it probably is. China or Korea, I think. Yeah.
So is that next?
Getting banned.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know if WhatsApp, because WhatsApp is a private messaging app, so I don't think it's as bad
When
as
we was talking
TikTok.
about this off air, you brought up a really good point. All right. When you said the problem is with children and TikTok, a lot of people, they think they're going to be influencers. And now it's been a proven fact that 2 or 3% of people that aim to be influencers move away from their school studies and they think that they're going to be influencers, and then it leads to disaster. Correct?
Such disaster.
Right.
Such a terrible
So what was you saying that you feel as if
thing.
it affects?
Yeah, so it affects kids' psyches. Like, if you've ever, you've seen children, you've been around children, a lot of times they don't get to be kids anymore because they're trying to, it's almost like they feel like they're competing with adults, like kids that are 16, 17 look like they're 25.
And they're
And,
competing against Jennifer
well,
Lopez.
yeah,
What's the other
or
one? The
yeah,
Kardashians.
they're trying to be Kardashian, Kylie Jenner, all of these people. And so they don't get to be a kid. You don't get to go through your awkward stage where you have braces or, you're wearing pink pants and like a green shirt. It's like, no, you're dressing like a full-on adult by the time you're 14
Some
years
of the
old.
kids when I grew up, that was punk.
Yeah, and you don't even get to be different. You don't get to discover yourself,
Right.
when you're a kid.
I 100% agree with that, especially, being involved in ice skating and sort of the freedom of expression, let's put it like that. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
The next thing I've got for you is how do you consider this against the First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech.
All right.
Do you think there's a clash there between the two?
Nope. I don't. I
Right.
don't.
Because some people are going to use that as a clash against the First Amendment, which is the freedom of speech.
You can use freedom of speech anywhere. You can find a different platform to talk on. It's taking away a platform. You can.
Very good point. I personally think TikTok is a national threat. And I think, especially the world is getting more dangerous. There is more people like Putin, Urban, Z, authoritarian regimes. Also, Trump is authoritarian. With our elections coming up as well, that I think it's things like this that are really going to be a problem in the future, especially when America has been brought up over the years as the face of freedom and the face of free speech, and, for us to govern ourselves, to be perfectly honest. So, it's a very interesting topic.
It's really interesting too, because maybe not kids, maybe from like, I'm gonna say 14 to maybe like 22, they're still using it. But when you get to people that are older, a lot of kids that are 23 and up, maybe 23 to 40, let's say people 23 to 40, they're not using TikTok anymore because they said that it messed up how they thought about a lot of things. Like, I have to go out a lot and I do, my photography, my photo shoots. A lot of people are, and even if I'm in an Uber, they're like, I didn't even use TikTok anymore. Yesterday, some guy was like, I got 4 hours back from my day because all he would do was scroll through TikTok for like 3-4 hours a day, just all day long. So it's
that's
like
a hypnotic drug. The thing that was interesting about this is the bill passed a vote by 352 votes to 65.
Oh my gosh.
Now, for them two parties to pass a vote like that is some accomplishment where they acknowledge that there's a problem. And it's nice to know that whichever party you're with is putting the country first.
Yeah, that's actually really great. That's actually really awesome.
So it's nice to see, that we've got something going on in Washington that makes a little bit of sense. Leading on. I said that there was some people in Washington that was making sense. The next person I do not see making sense at all. I'm 63, 64 in May. So there was a conservative pundit that says retirement is a stupid idea. All right. And personally, I'm in a lucky situation. I have a little pension that I've got from the UK when I was in the UK. Then I came over to the US when I was 35. So I've got a little bit of a pension here. I've got some investments that I've got which are generating income. So hopefully I should do okay, unless they lock me in a mental institute and then I've got a big bill to pay per month.
Well, that's probably the most likely thing to happen.
It is probably. They will lock me in a mental institute, or I will suffer from dementia. And, my mother's got that. So it's in the family, so I guess I better watch out for it. But this Republican, and he says, whether it's a conservative pundit saying retirement is a stupid idea, or GOP presidential candidate Donald Trump talking about cutting Medicare and Social Security, one thing is clear. Republicans recognize that all of us Americans would be better off if we worked until we're dead. I strongly support this stance and have long planned to continue working until my last breath, collapsing face first onto a laptop as my ancient carcass succumbs to the ravages of time. Noted podcaster and conservative thought leader Ben Shapiro said on his show Tuesday, it's insane that we haven't raised the retirement age in the United States. I want to comment on that. About 3 years ago, I personally, that was my opinion. I was going to work myself into the grave, and I thought it would, help keep me going. Having succumbed about 2 years ago to a really bad bout of epilepsy, and part of that was brought on because of the stress of running a business and stresses in general. My doctor suggested that I needed to cut back. And I've started to cut back, and I'm sort of going to invest out, if you want to, a part of my business. So I'm just a partner in my business, but I'm still keeping the business. Well, basically, I really can't understand this, because in the 40s and the 50s, you would have corporate retirement plans where your corporation would put part of that into your corporation, and people would always be guaranteed, having some sort of retirement. Then along comes Ronald Reagan, I believe it was, who basically said, no, it's not fair on the companies to do that. So what we're going to do, we are going to give you, the people, the power to invest in yourself. The problem with that is you, the people, do not have any investment experience, and it's such a complicated world out there on how to invest and what to invest in, and it depends on what your timeline is, what your risk management is, and such like. It is so difficult for you to do. So indirectly, what we've got now, and the outcome is, we have baby boomers, which were the biggest burst of people that have come in. A lot of them are retiring. A lot of baby boomers at the moment are working people, can't afford any rent, sleeping in their cars, and basically it's getting very difficult for them. This will basically pass down from, it'll pass down, in my opinion, from generation to generation. I personally feel it is the government's responsibility, if you have paid into a fund, it is their fiduciary responsibility, just like it would be like a fiduciary advisor, to invest in the future in bonds, all right, to basically provide some sort of retirement. Cutting it, there's a lot of Europeans out there, Norway, Finland, a lot of the Nordic countries have very, very successful retirement programs. They have a lot of health programs where there's healthcare. What people don't understand about providing free healthcare is that means that people can get to work. That means that people aren't off so many days that they can get to work, they can get themselves better, they can get to work, and it just makes a better environment. And I really feel that America's got to get away from this, and they've got to get to a more positive future where they are producing. I'm very much for having a better Medicare system and a better Medicaid system and a stronger social security system, because at the moment there's a lot of conservatives out there that are looking at cutting social security. And I really push everybody to get out there and vote, because especially for the people that are getting older. And the ridiculous part to this is that a lot of Trumpers and MAGAs out there that are voting for Donald Trump, he wants to cut your social security, he wants to cut your Medicare, and you're voting for him to cut it. So I would basically, I don't think it's fair on anybody to be in a position where you're working and you're dying on your laptop. Personally, it makes a bit of a mess in the office. Do you not think so, Kay?
Yes, because that's what I was saying before you were saying anything. I was like, that sounds so dumb, because I'm like, that's fine and dandy.
It's heartless,
for him.
Where's the
It is.
humanity in that comment?
Yeah, and so there have been videos, like you were just talking about, there are older people who, in their 70s, they've had to go back to work where, they're even working at the dollar store. They're working at, they're working as food delivery drivers, and it's very hard for them to even move around, like to do a lot of things. So it's really like, it sounds great, oh yeah, I'll sit on my laptop and work, but not everybody has that luxury of being able to sit at a laptop and have a sit down job. A lot of people.
The other part that's so ridiculous about this particular story is the top 1% in our country pay less taxes than anybody else.
Exactly.
And the working class are paying more taxes. The top 1% need to pay 15% taxes. And we'd soon get rid of our deficit. We'd soon be able to get better Medicare for people, through to people, better social security to people. Indirectly, would put more money into the economy, which would help drive down inflation because there's more money turning, in the economy. And I really think it's a horrible thing to say. To me, there is no humanity in this argument. You've worked all your life, you've worked for 30 years, at the end of the day, there used to be a saying, you work for retirement, now you work through retirement, and that's not right to me.
Yeah, so like one of the big things about the American dream was retiring, being able to retire at a decent age. And I think that that's a kind of change. Like we've moved away from that so much, and it's really, really sad. And I feel like when we were thinking about things, if you think of, back in the day, it was always women, children, and elderly. Those are the people that, people were supposed to take care of. And now it's just kind of like, I feel like we've lost faith in kids. And so now we're losing faith in taking care of the elderly. So what are we supposed to do?
Right.
But someone made a comment back to the TikTok thing, and they said, check this out. China blocked Yahoo, our American news, back in 2015.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that either. So
well, Russia did a good job of blocking a lot of our channels. They block YouTube. Or different aspects of YouTube. In Russia, they tried to ban certain channels on YouTube. So to me, it's all I'll give away.
So actually, also India blocked. I don't know if you know this, but India blocked TikTok in 2020. So.
And let me tell you something. You're partially Indian, correct?
Yeah.
One of my best friends in England was Indian. Very smart country.
Just too
one of
people.
The most underestimated countries you have in the world. That's where mathematics was invented. All right. The most number of engineers of any country in the world. All right. If India banned it in 2020, then have a guess what? America's 4 years behind the ball.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny that they did that, though.
But here's the thing that worries me. As a country, and this isn't a knock on America, it's not a patriotic thing. It's not an unpatriotic thing I'm going to say, but there's a lot of people where they will look that it's an entitlement to have access to
Other
TikTok.
It is.
And that's part of the problem.
I just looked something up. Check this out. This is actually really interesting to me. These are the countries that have TikTok banned.
Did you put it in Discord?
I did not. Here, I'll send it to you right now. So it is very interesting. A lot of them, though, like Canada and the EU, it's banned, but only on government-issued phones. So that goes back to what you were saying about spyware. But yeah, on government-issued phones in the EU, in Canada, in Britain as well.
I thought it had been proven that TikTok is a form of spyware.
It was, I thought. Australia as well is banned on government-issued phones. These are only government-issued phones. Then after that, other countries. So those are the Western countries. But now we have Somalia, Indonesia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, New Zealand. Those are banned from the public. But even Taiwan banned. Taiwan, which is so interesting to me, banned TikTok from their phones, and China is trying to, take over. They're having a civil war with Taiwan right now. So, very interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But I thought it was, pretty interesting. So anyway, let's get over to, we're going to move on now down our little script, and we're going to move on to something that Kay brought up, which we think is quite funny. We like to add a little bit of humor to the show. And this is basically something that's come about recently. If you've seen the movie Cocaine Bear, what that's seen is that bears on crack are a huge problem in Canada and Florida, is it?
In Florida, yeah. I mean,
I want to know where they're getting the crack from, because they obviously aren't paying for it in dollars. Basically, here's a photo of a bear on crack, and they're a huge problem according to this Florida Republican. Simple misunderstanding. He just meant that there's a concerning amount of drug use in the gay community in Florida. That's a little bit of a harsh.
That's kind of funny.
Big Daddy is hitting the source a little harder. I mean, but do you think it is crack?
It probably is, because of the fact that,
Where are they getting the crack from?
The ocean, or someone's feeding the bears crack. I don't know.
I have no idea how much crack even is, but I mean, if you buy crack, I know it's got to be expensive. I mean, well,
I think crack and meth are the cheapest drugs to purchase. That's why.
So what would you do? I mean, just say, hey, buddy.
Here you go, buddy.
Come and eat this.
That's funny. Someone was like, "What's the problem? The bear's just taking out the trash for you." I was just like, wow. I think that's absurd, to be honest. That is. So one thing too is that they're trying to loosen the laws. This is why I think that this is interesting. They're trying to loosen the laws on killing bears. And so that's his argument, is that a lot of bears are on crack. That's the argument.
To me, it's inhumane to, just shoot bears for the sake of it.
Yeah, I
was under the impression that there was a bear culling season.
Yeah, there is.
Because
hunting season,
the reason why I say that is because a lot of people are opposed for the King's Guards, wearing their hats. It's made out of Canadian bear skin.
Mm-hmm.
And they can only be culled in Canada between particular months. A lot of people are opposed to that, basically using like a fake, a fake fur.
Yeah, like a little faux fur.
Which, to be honest with you, I really wouldn't be that opposed to. But I know bears are a problem in particular areas. You see videos all the time. Mom, there's a bear on my porch.
Yeah.
Well, if you're worried about bears, just come down to Houston and live. Right. I've never seen a bear in my life on my porch.
Yeah, I've never seen a bear. Well, when I lived in Northern California, we had chickens, and so the bears would come and try to get into the chicken coop. Yeah. But other than that, yeah, they don't come down.
Just a funny story for everybody. We manage homeowners associations, Centre 21 Olympian, and there is a golf course at the back of one of our properties. And one time we had multiple calls because apparently there was either an alligator or a crocodile that came out of this pond, and how he got in there, I do not know. And it was walking through the condominium complex, which is 28 buildings, and it walked through to the main street.
Just so funny.
I would have loved to have got some photos of that.
Of the bear?
Not the bear.
Or not the bear, the crocodile. I would have loved to see that too. That's very funny. There are so many animals in there.
there you are in your swimming pool. I mean, it's all caged in at the swimming pool. It has to be, by code. But all of a sudden you see this alligator.
Just moseying on. That is so. Someone said that certain bears are going extinct, and it says people act like the bears are invading our space, but the truth is we invaded their
That
space
is
first.
very true. Whoever made that comment is very much on the money. That is true.
Mm-hmm.
That is very, very true.
Just trying to get their stuff back.
Name the number one country that has more forests than any other country in the world.
I don't even know. Is it Canada? Is it the U.S.? Russia.
Finland.
Ah.
There's more percentage, 73%. I watched a documentary last night, and now today I'm a Finnish expert. And it was saying that the percentage, the top 5 Nordic countries have all got the best standard of living.
That makes sense. They're
For education, healthcare. When a woman's pregnant, they basically get 12 months.
They get 12 months, and then I think they have paternity and maternity leave, so
Right.
you can choose. Mom can be off for 9 months,
all
dad
free.
can be off for 3
It's all
months.
free, to take
Right.
up your baby.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that's what the government should be doing.
Yep.
The government aren't getting into your life about, what it is, but there should be help there for people. Anyway, let's go on to my favorite person.
Your favorite person?
Yeah.
Me? Just kidding.
You're my second favorite person. Okay. Someone you might consider an absolute cult figure in the sports world. Actually, you know what? Christopher Dean and James Orville, I'll actually have them as my number 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that won the Olympics, and we were there in 1984. But the second one is a Houston, I'll say my top Houston born and bred athlete is Simone Biles. And basically, she's married to an NFL football player called Jonathan Owens. And basically, he's just been traded from, I don't think he's been traded. I think he's been a free agent, and if that passes as basically being a free agent. But basically, she sent out a tweet to just say thank you to the Packer Nation for embracing my husband and I. Green Bay will always hold a special place in our hearts. Chicago, here he comes. I'm so excited about not having connecting flight to go and see my husband. And I just love the city of Chicago. Pizza and hot dogs. I've got to tell you, I like Chicago. I lived in Chicago for a time. I also like Milwaukee as well. And I'll be honest with you, I actually like Milwaukee as well. I used to work at both places and drive from Chicago to Milwaukee. It really wasn't that far. It was like an hour and a half drive. But that was at the Pettit Center in Milwaukee. But, to be perfectly honest, I'm glad that she's finding the success and the happiness that she wants, because my God, has she earned it, There was a lot of critics with her. I really think she is an absolute class act. She doesn't get involved in things that really, don't concern her. I don't know if she has an opinion on different things. I really would like to, see what her opinion is on things, and she probably wouldn't even tell me, because she's that much of a class act.
Right.
And all I can say is, my heart goes out to her. Congratulations to Simone and her husband. I hope things work out for you. It's nice to see that, you're still flying the flag for Houston. I know you're training hard, probably for the Olympics that are coming up. But it's nice to see her still going. I mean, I don't know if you can see the photo that we've got of her on there, but she looks so happy with everything, and it really is nice to see.
She does.
Yeah, what's that?
I said she does. She seems very excited. I know, and a lot of her career has had so much what is it called? Just like strife that she was kind of going through,
Well,
and so it's really
I
nice.
felt bad for her when she brought out that move, and it's the hardest move that's ever been done, and they wouldn't mark it. And it reminded me of when in 1983, I forget which figure skater it was, who did a backflip for the first time.
And didn't they get it got banned immediately after, right?
They refused to mark it. They
Yeah.
refused to even consider it in the marking system. You still can't.
You cannot do that. I saw that. I remember seeing that. I mean, obviously I wasn't
Now
there.
they can do it in shows, and some of them do it in shows. Scotty Hamilton ended up doing it, gradually. I don't know if it was Terry Cooper, but it was the one that got banned. But to be perfectly honest, but to me, it's an advancement in the sport.
Right.
If I end up doing a backflip, I end up with a ball. But anyway, that's it for the Texas. That's it for the Olympian Table. We will be back tomorrow with the Texas Real Estate Show. Please like, subscribe, and turn on any notifications. Do you have any comments, Kay?
No, not. Let's see if we have any other comments that everyone's saying. No, that's it. We just, love to Simone Biles. It's really nice to see, someone that talented come out of, your new home of Houston.
Yeah, well, she still lives in Houston.
Right.
Yeah, but I know what she means about doing the extra flight, because what she's probably doing is flying from Houston to Chicago to Milwaukee.
Yeah, and she's preparing for the Olympics too.
Right.
So.
And that in itself has got to be a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
Because when you're training for the Olympics, you're not just training for the Olympics 2 or 3 hours a day. You're training for the Olympics maybe 8 hours a day. So anyway, with that being said, as I said to you, we will see you next week. We look forward to seeing everybody again. Please tune in to us. If you have any comments or any points that you want us to bring up, any points that you see interesting and you'd like our opinion, we'd love to give our opinion, and we'd like you to give your opinion. So until same time, same channel, we'll see you next week. Ta-da for now. All right. Happy spring break. Enjoy yourself. And peace.